here I am with Danny, the gym owner of Tucson Strength. But Danny, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Danny Sawaya, and I'm the owner of Tucson Strength here in Tucson, Arizona.
Yeah, so Danny, you've been in business for about 13 years now, and
Yep.
This is about the third location. I think I said it was about 20,000 square feet the other day. Really, I checked Danny, it's about 13 or so, but still quite a large facility. Tell us a little bit about how your gym got started and what it is today.
I'd been a trainer for probably a decade, and I'd worked at multiple gyms, managing multiple gyms, and saw how I didn't like other gyms run and the philosophy and the culture, and finally realized it's time to start a little gym. And I quit my job, started in the park with some ladies that had some kettlebells, and started taking them through kettlebell workouts in the park to make some money. And then a few months later opened up a small 1,000 square foot studio and did personal training and group training. And we lasted at that small location for about a year. And then we actually got kicked out for making too much noise. So we started doing Olympic lifts and moved to a 6,000 square foot location where we got to expand our programs, more personal training, group training, powerlifting. And after about 7 years at that location, I had the idea I wanted to own a gym, not just training studio, but I wanted to have a multi-functioning gym that really focused not just on like a gym setting for general fitness, but something that was a little more catered to the strength enthusiast and offer equipment that they couldn't find at the big box gyms, and a culture and community that big box gyms didn't have, and built off our community foundation and offering some pretty amazing equipment and environment for the more focused type of lifter.
Yeah, it's awesome. So you even got the U of A powerlifting club to kind of join in on the gym. How did that take place?
We built our name up as had this specialization tools for powerlifting.
Yeah.
And at the same time we opened the U of A, just a bunch of kids at the U of A wanted to start a powerlifting club, and the U of A rec center wouldn't accommodate them and let them rent space, or wouldn't give them any type of time to secure part of the gym to just work out as a team. So they didn't have a place at the university. So they reached out to me and said, hey, would you be open to us renting a space so we could have our team practices here? And conversation led from one thing to another, and I said I'd love to be a part of that, and gave them a great deal to come in here and be the home of U of A powerlifting.
And were you already involved with kind of USA powerlifting at that point, or how did that?
Yeah, so I've been involved with USPA, United States Powerlifting Association. I was a lifter for them, and then I was a host. I hosted meets for USPA powerlifting for multiple years, since 2016. I was hosting meets for 2017, and then about 2 years ago I became a meet director and started learning how to direct meets and running the meets. And then last year I became the state chair for Arizona, so now I'm the state chair for all of USPA Arizona.
You got a lot on your plate.
Yeah, running a gym and all that other fun stuff. Yeah, pretty busy.
I think I saw the next meet here is October.
So we have a meet in Phoenix that I run in September, and we actually have a meet here in 2 weeks. We have July 22nd, we have the Southwest SummerSlam, then we have Phoenix, and then October 21st we have our Tucson Strength Classic, which has been a meet we've run for about 5-6 years now.
In 2020, when the whole world shut down, what was that like for you?
It was March 17th was one of the worst days of my life. I'll never forget it. And we were told to shut down by the city, and I was absolutely just devastated. It was one of the worst days of my life. I didn't know what to do. We had just opened up this location a year before, and I'd spent my entire life savings on all the equipment in here and getting it up. And 2020 was supposed to be our year to make some of that money back, because 2019 was our first year here. And we closed down for 6 weeks. We kept our members going online, and then we got to reopen in end of May. Or middle of May, I think we got to reopen. And to a strong reopening. We were the first gym to reopen because we kept our staff paid through that time. Then we got closed down again in end of May. And that was, again, just a big heartbreak. And I refused to close down that time. I said, absolutely not. So we stayed open inside for a few days, and I went hustling, and we built a big outdoor facility. And I had tent companies, fencing companies and they were here within 48 hours of us shutting down to build the outdoor area. And then our members came through and helped us move all the equipment outside, and I was ordering security systems and alarm systems, and you know, it was a big blessing. We had some of the busiest months of our history during that time.
Wow.
While we were supposed to be closed, we were making more money for a couple months because we were the only gym that legally stayed open.
Interesting. It's kind of crazy how people still wanted to go to the gyms during
It was
that time frame.
108 degrees outside
Jeez.
that summer. It was like the weather we're having now. And we had a swamp cooler and a couple fans out there, and we had lines of one in, one out pretty much all day long. In the middle of the day, we had people waiting to come in and train.
Nice.
It was pretty awesome.
So that kind of speaks to like the community you've built here. What would you say, kind of, how would you describe the community of Tucson Strength for all its members?
You know, it's just a group of people that really care about each other, which is kind of cool. Everyone here is pretty cool. I do my best to support the community and offer them what they want. I listen to them. And in return, I got a great community that respects the place, you know, really wants to support it. So many of our members during that time, even when we were shut down, continued to pay their dues. They said, keep my membership rolling. We want this place to stay open.
Yeah.
And that's a big reflection on not just myself, but my staff and everyone else here, because people really cared. And it goes both ways. And I love it, because this gym you'll see here in the morning, there's 85-year-olds training, and there's a dude, you know, power lifts 700 pounds, and there's a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
And, you know, the word diversity is big today, and it's something we've always been, just as part of our culture without even promoting it. It's just like this cool place of everyone getting along. And, you know, I don't like to call us a hardcore gym, but we're a place that people want to come and focus and train.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. So I've been a member for, I guess, since February of 22. Yeah, out of all the you know, other gyms in the area, I'm kind of on this side of town too, but out of all the other gyms, this one seemed to really align with kind of, you know, what I do with my kind of passion and fitness career. And like you said, it had the availability of equipment that I wasn't going to find at the big box gyms and, you know, those guys around here. So never been a fan of those, but I'm definitely passionate about equipment, which we've talked about a little bit in this video, and we talk about equipment all the time.
All the time.
But, you know, I would say over the last, probably this year specifically, you've gotten quite a bit of new pieces, flipped some pieces. So what would you say your favorite piece of equipment in this gym is, if you had to pick one?
Oh, man, my favorite piece in this entire gym. Okay, so it kind of sounds funny, but the old Body Masters bicep curl. It's like, it's probably, I don't even know how old that piece is. It has to be 25 years old.
Yeah, it's
And
like a 80s piece.
yeah, and I love it. It's I saw that online in Phoenix, and you know, I've looked at newer bicep curl machines, and they're fine. But this one was one I grew up on in like the 90s, I think, and it has a dual hinge, and you know, there's something about it that was nostalgic, but I just couldn't wait to get that piece. I drove up to Phoenix the next day and loaded it up in a trailer. I said, I need that piece of equipment right there. That's one of my favorite pieces that brings me back with a little nostalgia. And that new leg curl, the Cybex leg curl we got, single leg, that's kind of fun. I enjoy that.
That is fun. Yeah, it's really good traction on that.
Yeah, a lot of people, you know, I don't buy a lot of fancy dancy. I have some new equipment, and honestly, you've seen, like some of the newer pieces I have are nice, but they're just okay.
Yeah.
And I still like some of the older pieces. I like to find the pieces that you don't see anymore that were great 20 years ago and they're still great now. So I try to, the gym doesn't match with color and everything, but I don't care. I want functionality, and that's a big part of what the next year is, taking out some of the pieces we don't use as much and upgrading, because I'm really wanting to put in more functional pieces of equipment that I know people enjoy. I'm really enjoying seeing more bodybuilders here, so I'm really trying to find those pieces that I know. Like, first we was just catering to power lifters with some assistance pieces, and now I really want to start finding more of those pieces I know that bodybuilders and people who care about physique type stuff will enjoy, because it's not just a powerlifting gym. It's like people, again, who are serious about their training, care about their training. It doesn't have to be a strength athlete. It's for people who want a different environment, and I know a lot of bodybuilders are tired of the big box gyms and the culture there, and if I can offer them a really great facility to get all the parts they need, then great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Definitely a variety of crowd here. You've got your powerlifters, bodybuilders, you know, you've got Olympic lifters. So let's touch on the Olympic lifters. So I'm not too familiar with kind of their story, but I think you guys have a history, and maybe they left and came back, or?
Yeah, so when we started, I started Tucson Barbell Club, we were just a small little thing. I came up with the name Tucson Barbell Club, and it was funny. People thought I was crazy because back then it was just CrossFit or big box gyms, and I wasn't affiliated with any of that. And one of my friends was an Olympic lifter, and he wanted to start a team, so we just started recruiting it from the U of A and getting these young guys in here who want to learn Olympic lifting.
Nice.
And we were getting CrossFitters who didn't want to CrossFit anymore but wanted to Olympic lift, and we started an Olympic lifting team even before we had powerlifting. So we started Tucson Barbell Club, and it started to grow. And at my other location, we were just running out of space. And though we had a good amount of Olympic lifters, my gym was just getting overrun by my other programs. So the Olympic lifters moved to a different gym, and we had to make more space for other programs, which was kind of a bittersweet moment for us. Yeah. And we moved into this location a few years later. They were still at the other gym, and they reassociated with a team called High Desert Athletic Club out of New Mexico. The gym they were at ended up closing down, and they were gonna probably end the team. And I said, come on back, guys, I got room. So we brought them back in. Same coach, Roof is our coach, and he was our coach before. And I'm really happy to have him back because it really well rounds everything else out with the strength sports and having two of the biggest barbell sports underneath one roof. So
yeah, it's cool. Awesome. So now you need like a bodybuilding club.
Now I need a bodybuilding club, and I get all the bodybuilders wanting me to build a posing room.
Yeah.
We have some expansion hopes in the future. We're working some stuff out with our landlord, but that's one of the things we want to do is I want to have like an entire room of just equipment and stuff for bodybuilders. I'm just working on all that. So if we can get through some of the hurdles we're facing right now with the gym and the expansion part, that'd be hopefully what we grow into in the future.
All right, so you just kind of touched on it. So that's, I guess, kind of short-term, maybe long-term goal. What are some of your other short-term, long-term goals for Tucson Strength in the coming years?
Well, in expansion, I would like to see this place get bigger. I never thought I'd be running out of space here, but my idea is just keep growing and the building's not getting any bigger. So if trying to work something out with the landlord to expand the facility would be great. And if not, the possibility of looking into a bigger spot in the next 5-6 years is a possibility if the real estate market and the interest rates are good. And and then rebuilding possibly our outdoor area. We're facing some things with rebuilding that, so we may have to build a different structure out there, but the outdoor area has been a huge part of our gym, and I want to keep it. So yeah, trying to do that, and then just continue to grow our membership base. We're at the point where we have steady growth, and I'm just happy with that. I don't like seeing huge amounts of growth all at once because it throws the community and culture off. So my goal would be to cap the membership in the next 3 years or 2 years. That would be a wonderful thing to happen.
Invite only.
Invite only, or one in, one out. You're on a waiting list, so we'll see if that becomes reality.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so my last question here would be for those who, maybe in the near future, maybe way down the line are looking to open their own gym, such as myself, wherever I decide to kind of settle down at, what would be your biggest piece of advice to that crowd?
I think the biggest thing with opening a gym is find out what your niche is, find out what you're passionate about and build it around that, not what everyone else is doing. Don't look at like what the competition's doing as much as what you care about and really what you want to build your vision around, because that's what I've always done. I've had so many people tell me what I was going to do wouldn't work, right? When I opened up a group training that wasn't CrossFit, it wasn't going to work. When I started a barbell club that wasn't associated with the CrossFit, it wouldn't work. When I brought powerlifting to Tucson, people said, Tucson won't support powerlifting. We hold the biggest meets in the state now. So find your vision, find your passion, and the next big one is don't go into debt. Don't go take out a $500,000 loan and then suck down a huge lease term that you can't. I never went into debt on this place. I've literally started as small as I could and built out of my cash reserves. Even though it was small and it wasn't much at all when I first started, the ability to just grow without building debt, hands down, it was my biggest savior during COVID, and it relieves all the pressure because I own every piece of equipment here. I don't have a lease on one piece of equipment here.
That's awesome.
And I built it around that, and that's been our biggest strength financially that's allowing us to get through hard times and grow. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. Certainly appreciate it.
I appreciate
I like this new shirt. I might have to get me one.